Welcome back to the Cultivating Self-Compassion series. This is the fourth of a 5-part video series about inviting and practicing mindful practices that develop our capacity to be more compassionate to ourselves and others. In the last 3 videos, I talked about intentionally including positive moments during our day, developing a gratitude practice, and how to investigate and be really curious about the shoulds we tell ourselves. By the way, if you missed any of those previous videos, you can check them out using the link in the description box below. In today's video, I'm going to share with you another way to cultivate self-compassion, which is self-care. Now, I know you're probably rolling your eyes at me because self-care seems impossible right now, but the self-care I'm talking about isn't the passive consumerism self-care that popular culture tends to sell you. Continue watching this video and I'll explain more. Hi everyone, my name is Paula Cristina Azevedo and I'm the founder of The Meditating Teacher, where I teach and support educators, parents, and leaders about mindfulness practices so we can be a bit more present and compassionate for the kids and teens in our lives. Today, I'm gonna get real with you all. Not that I haven't been honest and real with you before, but today's topic is really close to my heart. I'm really passionate about self-care practices, and I actually have a pretty different perspective on self-care. Let's be honest, teachers have always been overworked, under-resourced, and even underappreciated. Schools and teachers tend to fill the gaps that society has failed to provide students and their families who may be food insecure, homeless, have mental and other health concerns, and so much more. The pandemic has exacerbated the social and economic disparities and have added additional strain to schools. In addition to all that, teachers are juggling between in-person and remote learning, and we're working longer, harder, and with fewer resources and support. And as the crisis prolongs, some are feeling more isolated. This is simply not sustainable. In a time when we need more experienced professionals in the classroom, the nation is seeing a higher percentage of teachers filing for early retirement, and others who've been in the profession for 10 or fewer years are seriously contemplating leaving the profession altogether. As a teacher educator, I hear my own students who are just about to enter the profession share with me that they are afraid that they can't meet the demands of teaching. They fear that they've made the wrong decision to become a teacher. This breaks my heart. This is such a dismal state of our education right now. That's why we need to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves and that we're prioritizing self-care. Because what will happen when there are fewer teachers in the classroom left? Self-care is important, but unfortunately, the self-care that is often discussed are things like massages, long warm baths, or treating yourself to a glass of fine wine. None of these things, by the way, are wrong or bad. I actually enjoy all of those things. However, self-care doesn't always have to be passive. Self-care can be active and fierce, especially self-care that cultivates compassion and self-compassion. By the way, this fierceness isn't coming from a place of hate or anger. Instead, fierce self-care arises from a kind-heartedness and a higher level of awareness that gives you the strength to take responsibility for yourself and your needs in order for you to make the changes that benefit not only you, but your colleagues, students, and even their families. So, what does fierce self-compassion look and sound like? Fierce self-compassion is about taking action with compassion and care for yourself and even those around you. It's stepping up into your own authority and leading. It's about setting clear boundaries and saying no when a no is appropriate. And sometimes it's not even a straight up no, but rather, no, not yet. Now, this isn't about being reactive and potentially doing something that will make an already difficult situation worse, but rather this is about being mindfully responsive to a situation that isn't sustainable, that is potentially dangerous and lacks compassion. Fierce self-compassion starts so often by being honest with yourself and recognizing when you're not okay. Listening to those whisperings that you tell to yourself that things are not right, that boundaries have been crossed. Now, you don't have to keep this all bottled inside yourself. You can start by journaling these whispers you tell yourself. Sometimes you don't even really know what's really wrong until you start digging underneath the feelings and start writing about it or even talking about it with others. Once you can put your thoughts into words, you can make your needs known and you can ask for the additional resources and support that you need. Being a teacher doesn't mean being a martyr, because a martyr teacher is useless in the classroom. Teachers who practice fierce self-care aren't indulging themselves and aren't being selfish. They are drawing very clear lines to preserve themselves so they can make sure that they are being the best teacher for their students every single day they show up in class. So don't let anyone tell you that fierce self-care is selfish or wrong. Don't let anyone guilt you into doing something that you know isn't helpful for you or your students. And when someone tells you, but it's for the kids, don't you want to help the children? When someone says something like that to you, ask yourself, at what cost? And what does this policy really do for kids? Now, this fierce self-care doesn't have to be done alone. Drawing lines and boundaries and saying no can be done with your colleagues, parents, and students who agree and support you. There's definitely strength in numbers when a collective of teachers draw those distinct lines and are fiercely self-compassionate and taking care of each other. This is when you don't have to bear all the burden on yourself. You can share that burden with others, and you'll probably get so much more done when others are with you. Is fierce self-care challenging? Of course, but like all things I've been sharing in this series, it's a practice. It's about taking baby steps. If you've ever watched a baby walk, you know that they fall and they stumble, but they get right back up again and try. So listen carefully to your inner authority, and with compassion and self-care, be fierce. If you want to learn more about self-care and the 3 forms of self-care, read my latest blog post, which you can find the link below in the description box, or visit my website, themeditatingteacher.com, where you can read an extended post about self-care. On my website, you'll also find additional resources, free guided meditations that may help you through your mindfulness and self-care journey. And also, don't forget to sign up for my monthly newsletter, where I share additional content and resources exclusively to you in your inbox. Now, if you liked this video, please share, like, subscribe. It helps others find my channel and enjoy and benefit from this content.